Okay, so just by looking at this, we have a luxury good and a high price good at that, so a greater proportion of your income spend, versus a staple good or a necessity and a much lower percentage of your income spent. Looking at this demand curve, because it's up on this end, we pretty much know that this is going to be relatively elastic. At this end here, it's going to be relatively inelastic. Okay, the curves are shaped pretty much the same. You would think that a steeper curve would be less elastic, but it also depends on the position of the curve. So the definition of this is for every X% change in price, we get an X% change, or let me change this to N or something, percent change in quantity. So if the price change is smaller than the quantity change, then revenue is going to go up. If the percentage change in price is smaller, then revenue is going to go down. Okay? So the equation looks like this. We take an average, calculate elasticity. It's the change in Q divided by Q, average Q, Q bar. The change in P divided by P, P bar, which equals the change in Q times the change in P times P bar over Q bar. Okay? So calculate each of these and tell me what the elasticity is. And that's the last calculation you'll have to make, because I think the idea of elasticity is more important than the calculations. But if you really wanted to know, that's how you do it. So really, this is all you need. What are you faking it? You're sitting there with your pen not writing. So the change in Q here is, we go with the change in Q over the change in P. What's the change in Q? 1. Change in P, or Q bar. Oh, wait a minute, change in P, what's that? 20,000. We multiply that by the average price, which is 50,000, divided by the average quantity, which is 1.5. And what do we get? $1.67? So what does that number tell us? It says that for every 1% change in price, so that means for every 1% drop in the price, we're going to have a 1.67% increase in quantity. So that means price is dropping, but quantity is increasing higher than price. So that means total revenue should go up. How do you check that? 60,000 times 1 would be the total revenue from the one sale. 40,000 times 2 is the revenue from the second sale. So which is better? $80,000, that was going to be your revenue. Okay? So in this case, it's relatively elastic. That means people are responding through the demand curve to quite a lot to changes in the price reduction. Okay? In this case, if we go through this, then the change in Q is 10, and the change in P is 0.20, times P bar, which is $1.90, divided by Q bar, which is 105. What is it? 0.9, I think I got. So this means that for every 1% drop in price, we're going to have a 0.9% increase in quantity. So if we did the same exercise with total revenue, revenue is actually going to fall. But it works the other way. If you're down here and you're thinking about you're a baker in Russia and you're allowed to increase your price by 20 cents, then is it a good idea to do that? Yes, because for every 1% increase in price, we have a decrease of 0.9%. So our revenue is increasing because the price is going up faster than quantity is dropping. Okay? So if we divide the curve, pretty much any curve, this area is going to be relatively elastic. Somewhere in here, elasticity is going to equal 1. And down here, elasticity is going to be less than 1, so inelastic. And we do absolute values. We're going whatever direction. Okay. So why you need to know this? Because if you're in a position where you can change prices, you're going to affect your revenue and your profit. If you're in a position to administer or levy taxes, what do you want to do? Let's say you work for the Liquor Board Authority or Saskatchewan Gaming and whatever, and it's your job to increase revenues, tax revenues. Are you going to tax alcohol more or tobacco more? Can you answer that question?
You think the demand is like inelastic and changing price won't really affect your revenue if you increase?
Right.
Or decrease demand anymore?
The demand for alcohol and tobacco is fairly inelastic, right? But on every curve, you have a situation like this where if you increase prices beyond a certain point, people will respond to that. The law of demand says that as you increase prices, even with taxes, quantity is going to fall. Every time they raise prices, somebody says, whoa, when it hit $27 a pack, I'm going to quit. And so somebody will quit. But there's a lot who don't. So you will have a reduction in quantity when the price goes up. But at some point, can you increase taxes too much? Can you do that?